The big reason why Zepla quit World of Warcraft to begin with, and I want to see if it still if it holds true to the reason that I quit World of Warcraft for Final Fantasy as well.
Hey, also today you might see that I'm
She
wearing
looks so
my
different with the red hair. It's crazy.
shirt. But I want to make
Wait,
clear
wait, wait,
that I
wait,
do
wait,
not
wait,
support.
wait, 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 wait.
Hey, also today you might see that I'm wearing my
She didn't say hey buns.
shirt.
Oh
But
no.
I want to make
Didn't
clear
say hey
that I do
buns.
not support the Alliance in any way. I bought this T-shirt way before goblins were available as a race that I could play. I bought it at Hot Topic, and just
Wait,
saying
what?
that
You fucking
I'm
want
wearing
to
this shirt
play
today
goblins?
because
The
it's a
bunny girl
memento
Zepla wants to
of a
play
time long past. It's a
goblins. Oh
memento
god.
of a time when I was still really, really invested in World of Warcraft and when it was home to me still. And I want to talk
But her
about
hair was so
where I've
long.
come from since then
Unless like
and
extensions, but I don't think
how
so.
I ended up where I am now as a full-time Final
Actually,
Fantasy
that
14
might be an
content creator. I
extension,
feel
yeah.
like my experience as like a WoW refugee um,
First wave,
might be
WoW
enlightening
refugee.
for people and it might be relatable to people that are considering coming to 14 now that might also, like me, have this long history with World
Her
of
eyes
Warcraft and a
redder
sentimental
than her
attachment.
hair.
I'll never forget in December of 2004 when my
Her lighting in her room changed a lot. Like you can see, like right now when she makes videos, there's like actual lighting, like I have now from the outside. But she only has lighting for like the halo or whatever she's using, and she looks so different. That's pretty cool.
my dad drove me to a Walmart that was an hour away because it was the
Jesus
only one
Christ.
that we could find that had World of Warcraft
Oh,
in
okay.
stock
So
on
it
the
didn't like
website.
live in like
And
farmland or something.
I remember reading the like player handbook.
Dude, that was so sick, man. I remember when I bought. Let me. Where is it? I don't have the box anymore. I don't have the box. I don't even have CD readers on my computer because who has those? I have all of these CDs, but look at this shit. It's still in perfect condition. Look at that. God damn, man. I wonder if like the CD is actually worth something like collector's edition or some shit. It's like I need to check it out, bro. I would sell that trial edition for sure. Even though you can't really use it, but it's like you can laminate it or some shit. That's like it's free now anyway, so it's like you don't really need to use it. Oh my god, get in! Jesus. That's what she said, by the way. Jesus and get in. Get in, Jesus. Oh man, she was a naughty girl, that's for sure. There we go, got it.
On the way home, and I was thinking about what race I was gonna play, and I felt like I was gonna jump into this incredible adventure, and I was. World of Warcraft is an adventure that would consume my life for over the next decade and even longer. Raiding Nefarian with my guild was probably maybe my favorite ever memory from video games, like any video game I ever played. I was there with my raid guild.
The first raid I ever did was actually Black Temple. No, it was Karazhan right before we went to Black Temple. For some reason, my guild decided. I don't even know how this happened, but maybe Black Temple was out already and my guild was still farming Karazhan. I don't remember. We killed, I wanna say, we killed the first boss, the one with like the one with the spear that you need to burst his bubble. I don't think we killed the second boss. so bad. I don't think we killed the second boss, like the giant. I think that's the second boss, but like, yeah, we did not kill. I don't even think we managed to clear the trash. We literally just did like trash farming at that point instead of killing bosses. It was so sad. But when we killed that first boss, that's when I knew, man, I hate raiding. I hate dealing with other people, and still I kept doing it throughout of Wrath, throughout of Cataclysm, throughout. No, actually, no, I didn't even play in Miss. I took a break. What? I became a raid leader for High Mall. And then Legion was probably like my first time actually being in a proper raiding guild, and Mythic Prog was just like not fun. Like, I honestly, I don't remember enjoying it at all. Even when we were killing stuff on farm, even when we were killing new shit, I don't remember having fun. Raiding as a whole in WoW was never really fun for me. I just did it for the loot. But like, the raiding environment, in my opinion, was fucking dog shit. Always. Could be
Everyone
the
was
could be the people, could be me, could be that rating is not for me, but wow, it's like that rhymed. But I did enjoy fighting stuff in Elden Ring, for example. So I don't think it's so much as the raiding environment; it's more of the social environment in raiding that was a problem. I enjoyed Final Fantasy raiding way more than I enjoyed raiding in WoW. But I wouldn't say Final Fantasy rating is the thing I enjoyed the most in the game as well.
dead. I was the last one standing.
Oh
Nefarian was
wow!
at like 1% health, and everyone
And
was
then you
cheering me on
wiped.
in TeamSpeak. And I was a rogue, and I popped evasion, and I managed to dodge every attack and like step very fast until he died. And when he hit the floor, TeamSpeak went. Like people were freaking out. And I felt like a
Orgasms, man. I
goddess,
never get
I
it.
guess. I felt amazing.
So weird.
And then my chess piece dropped. The Bloodfang chess piece dropped, and everyone gave it to me. And they were like, because I won
Damn.
gold.
That sounds like a great dream to have. I don't know if it actually happened. It sounds like it might have, but also sounds like something she dreamt happened. The way she's describing it, it's like everything's just so perfect, right?
And they were like, you deserve this. And I was like, yeah, I deserve this. This is the best day
Then I
ever.
woke up.
Like, that's. What can I say? I was in love with that game. I was in love with the people I played with those experiences of like, we worked so hard to get to that point and we were rewarded for it. But imagine if that Bloodfang chess piece that dropped, like, if maybe that story happened today in the current state of WoW, and that chess piece maybe didn't Titan Forge or didn't get the socket or whatever, and
I mean, she's talking about like during Legion or what? I'm pretty sure it's Legion times. But here's the thing: when people were doing Classic and that chess piece dropped for the Rogue, I'm sure no one was as excited as you were back then. Not even close.
then I would be like, oh well, okay, well I guess we'll just have to come back later and I'll try to get the Titan Forge version. Okay, you know what I mean?
And that's exactly why I switched to heroic rating in Legion, because while we were clearing heroic in like about an hour and a half to 2 hours, heroic Tomb of Sargeras, and Mythic Prog was like one boss every 2 or 3 weeks. And during heroic Sargeras, sorry, this is Antorus. During heroic Antorus, I quit mid prog of Mythic Antorus while we were on Imonar. And the reason I quit was because we did a heroic run, which is like an hour and a half or 2 hours, full clear, AOTC, all the stuff, and we were on Imonar for like 3 weeks at that time. And what I discovered is that I could get my chess piece, and this is what happened. Heroic chess piece Titan Forge tier set, Titan Forge, to 985 or something like that. Like it basically max Titan Forged. It was like the highest item you can get. The mythic raid item can only Titan Forge to that anyways. So it doesn't even matter. So I got my best in slot, highest item level possible, with a socket chest piece from Heroic. Why the fuck am I wasting time in Mythic? I'll just do Heroic 2 hours a week, man. Get an item, don't get an item, whatever. I still have the chance. Because let's be real, if we clear Mythic, the one time we kill it, if we do ever, I'm probably not even gonna get the loot. There, like it might not, it probably won't even drop. I had a better chance farming heroic in for 2 hours and getting my best in slot than doing mythic raid. And that's when I said, "Fuck that shit." 1 second. Anyways, story time is over. Let's go.
There's been a shift in design philosophy over the years, and it's one that has been it's been painful to experience firsthand, and it's been heartbreaking to watch even from afar from my now new home of Final Fantasy XIV. As the years went on, I noticed
See, this I don't feel. I'm not saying that it's like I'm not sad about WoW. It's just more like I don't care. It's not like people left WoW and wanted to burn. Again, I just don't care. It's just at the end of the day, it is just a game, and it's like I want the game to be good so I can play it. But honestly, the way I see it, it's like if the game dies today, the reason I don't care is because I already had the fun that I had with it, and that's also fine. I don't need to think more about the fun that I could have with the game because it's like you live in a fantasy at that point. You're just like, man, imagine if the game was good again. Why would I need to imagine that? There are plenty of other good games I can play. There's so many options, and honestly, the more games you play, the better you actually become in almost every other game. You develop certain skills. For example, playing Elden Ring actually made me a better player in Final Fantasy XIV. I react way faster to mechanics. I watch the boss better and see animation on the boss that I didn't even notice before, and I know which mechanic is coming once I know the boss, obviously, which I could not do before Elden Ring. Elden Ring literally taught me mechanics, right? Same with like PvP stuff, right? So it's like playing World of Warcraft PvP actually helped me to an extent with playing PvP in League of Legends, even though a completely different game, but the reaction time is the same. It's like you see a stun, how fast do you shrink it? You see a stun coming in League of Legends, how fast do you zonias? How fast do I cast it in R away while the stun is coming to me? Shit like that. It's like there's certain things that like they connect, right? It's like look at Zaryu, for example. Zaryu came from Wizard 101 to being an amazing mage in WoW to being a pretty good Lost Ark player. I don't know how good he is, but it's like he was pretty good as a mage in Lost Ark too. Not fantastic, but there's some things that's like you learn, and it's like from each game, and that can be attributed to different games, and I think that's totally fine. You don't need to play one game your whole life, and I know it sucks because like there's learning curves and stuff, but it's like the learning curves are actually so good for you. Because there's a learning curve, that means you're learning something new. Think about it that way. You're learning something new that actually can help you with other games and with your original game that game is not so good at teaching you.
that I was adding less and less people to my friends list. And I noticed that I was spending more time with people I had been randomly matched with that wouldn't say a word, and then we all go back to what we were doing before, and we'll never speak to each other again. By the time I got to Warlords of
I actually would like that more if the people I was randomly matched with were as skilled as the people that I pre-make. As much as like I have certain friends that I really enjoy playing with, they have some friends that I don't really enjoy playing with, but we usually end up playing with them. And it's like when I know we're playing with them, I expect the key to be at least 3 levels lower than what I want it to be. And also we might actually also fail it. That's as far as Mythic Plus goes. But I still like those runs way more than the plus 15 random group I get where one player just keeps dying, doesn't know what he's doing, and shit like that. But also sometimes you get amazing people in the that's like just like for a plus 15 just fucking wreck everything. You like as a healer I barely had anything to do except like damage, and sometimes like pop AoE heals. No one was ever in danger to die and stuff like that, which I could not do with my regular group from the guild because even though they're good players, they suck at interrupting or like the comp wasn't ideal or something like that. And it's like you don't want to say no to somebody if they suck in the group that you know, right? So it's like I want to get this cleared, I don't want to carry kind of thing. So it's hard to tell, but it's like I think it's a mix, and also like I don't have to go on Discord, and if I don't feel like talking and stuff like that. Whereas like with a group of friends, you usually kind of do. Otherwise, it feels weird if everyone's there and you're not.
Draenor, I was sitting in my garrison and I realized
Oh,
that
that yeah.
that was the
The
loneliest
garrison
I
was just
felt.
like
It was the
yeah.
loneliest I'd ever been. And but at the same time I felt like trapped. I felt like there was nowhere to go and there was no MMO besides this one that would ever
You go to arena. You
have
go to
so
the
much meaning
BGs
for
and
me because it was
arena.
meaning that had been built up over so many years and through so many formative experiences. And I have friends, even today, there's friends in my Twitch chat who.
Besides, wasn't like in WoD, like yeah, the garrison was like kind of like everything for you, but couldn't you just go to Ashran and see people there? It's like seeing people in Dalaran. It's like, oh, Dalaran's lot of dead people. It's like it's not like you talk to them. So it's like, yeah, just go to Ashran, you'll see people. Like, I don't really understand that point where like you say you feel lonely. If anything, I would say WoD could have been even more intimate, where it's like, okay, you and all of your friends are sitting alone in your garrison doing nothing. Just fucking invite them over. Have your RP there. Like it, I don't understand this. Like, I mean, I understand it, but it's like I don't care as much about the social aspect in WoW or in Final Fantasy. Literally in Final Fantasy, I have people that like I was doing the firmament and I was talking to people there. I made a couple of friends, and it's not like we're like, we say if I see them in the world, it's kind of like, oh, hey, cool, huh? What are you doing here? Blah blah blah. Sometimes I teleport to their house if I see they're there, like, yo, what's up, and just sit in their house for a bit because I feel like just chatting. And I could have done that like with guild chat. It would be the same exact thing in WoW.
Met
Like
me during vanilla
for me, it's the same.
WoW or BC, and we have lifelong friendships from this game. We have bonds that will never be broken from this
Bullshit.
game. Of course, I'm connected to this
Bullshit.
game, and I always will be, no
That's
matter
big bullshit.
what. So I felt, well,
Bonds that could never be broken.
what's the
Give
point
me a
of trying
break.
another MMO? It's WoW or nothing, you know. But my garrison was pretty much running itself, and a friend of mine
Yeah.
begged me to try Final Fantasy XIV. It was during Heaven's Ward era. And honestly,
Not a good time
I
to
was
try it,
feeling
I
pretty
think.
depressed. I felt like I had nothing to lose, and my life wasn't going really well at the time either. And so I figured, well, there's a free trial, so whatever. I'm
I
gonna try it out.
swear, if I start playing Final Fantasy before Shadowbringers, I would not have kept playing Final Fantasy at all. It would not be the game for me. The thing is, like, the story of Heavensward was okay. It wasn't like people say it was amazing. It was okay. I find it okay. A bit of cliches, somewhat emotional, but okay overall. And Stormblood was meh. So and like Shadowbringers is really what like I was like, holy fuck, let's go. Now everything is getting real. That's when like I had my moment where I was like, I love this game. That was Shadowbringers. Before that, it was like, I like this game. It's nice. It's cool that while leveling, you get a set of gear that actually looks good and you don't look like a fucking scrub. Like in WoW, you wear like a fucking skirt and somehow you get defense as a tank. And meanwhile, like in Final Fantasy, you get like full on fucking armor. And I think that was cool. But it wouldn't be something that kept me in the game for long. Shadowbringers is really what solidified me staying in Final Fantasy and really enjoying the game, as well as the ability changes from Shadowbringers. Because I saw the abilities pre-Shadowbringers, and I was like, "Yo, that would feel so fucking empty and bad. Like it would feel like there's filler abilities you just have to click, but they don't feel good." Like for example, technically in Shadowbringers, I hated Warrior. I don't remember what it was, but I hated Warrior. But in Endwalker, I love Warrior. Warrior feels so good. I don't even remember what they changed, but it feels really, really good. So yeah, so it's like it's kind of hard for me to tell if I would have stuck with it if I quit any earlier than Shadowbringers. Quit WoW during anything before Shadowbringers,
And I had never played a Final
and I
Fantasy
probably
game
would
before.
never have given Final Fantasy another shot. I'm like, nothing really changed. Oh, they gave them abilities. Whatever. I don't care. It's not like ESO. ESO has a great appeal, in my opinion, for like I played it when it came out. I played it after a few patches. I played it when Elsewhere or whatever, like the island thing came out. Um, Elysium, Elysium. I don't remember. With the time mages or whatever came out, and I played during the dragon stuff when that came out as well. Like all like on and off and whatever. And the best thing I found about, like for example, coming back to ESO is first of all your progression stays, but and which is like a great appeal for a WoW player. But the other thing is you get new sets and you want to experiment with these sets, and like the sets kind of change the game. Not kind of, but they very in a very big way change the way you play the game, or like how or like which combination of abilities feels better, which you would not get with Final Fantasy because there's no real customization in Final Fantasy, and you definitely won't get it in WoW. So I would say ESO actually has a better appeal to people who come and go than Final Fantasy. Anyways, geez, I went on a rant. Let's
For
go.
I didn't understand like why there were cat girls to play. I didn't understand why there was like potatoes
Never ask questions why they're cat girls. Just say yes.
to play. I was kind of weirded out by the character creation, like full disclosure. Honestly, my first reaction was like, who is this game for? This is like a weeb game. That was my reaction. But I tried.
It feels like she quit before anime became like super popular in the US population, because now it's like people like Asmongold would never watch anime during WOD time, I think. And now Asmongold wears cat ears and wears maid suits, some maid's outfits sometimes when he does like a PO box openers or shit like that. Times change, but again, it's like it's literally like the whole like acceptance of that Japanese culture that became way more prevalent in the US, that kind of allowed Final Fantasy to blow up as well as Asmongold trying it.
Tried it. And honestly, in spite of myself, in spite of all my reservations, and in spite of myself expecting it to be crap, I found myself after 3 days of playing the story and just feeling myself slowly, like, I guess, let my guard up and allow this new game to be enjoyable for me. Honestly, I was hooked after 3 days. The story pulled me in, and I
But
started to feel
wasn't that like because your expectations were so low that you got pulled in? That's like
connected
that's
again,
how it
not just to
works.
the characters in
It's
the
like if I
story.
have low expectations for Shadowlands, I will not be disappointed. I'll be happy with anything I get because my expectations are like rock bottom, and they were, and they were. That's why I really enjoyed the first tier of Shadowlands, and then I just realized that all I'm doing is running on treadmill, and I was like, yo, fuck this game, done.
Which I kind of think of like those first connections to the story characters as being almost like a rope that I grabbed onto after being in this pit of like despair, like MMO despair. It was like I had this lifeline suddenly, and I started to feel like, oh my gosh, this is really fun, and I care about what's happening. I want to know what's going to happen next. And then the community embraced me, and the community started pulling me up out of this hole that I was in. And I started my YouTube channel, and I started making content for the game. And before I knew it, I felt like I had a family around me, and I felt like I belonged for the first time since Wrath of the Lich King in an MMO. I felt like I was at home, and I couldn't believe what was happening.
I'm sorry. I have
I
to
mean,
roll my eyes.
I got
I have to roll my eyes on like stuff like that because I can't understand. It's kind of like how people have like this parasocial relationships with streamers. It's like I feel at home in this streamer's chat rooms. Like, bro, like no, you don't. Like, are you kidding me? The thing is, what I feel like what happened with Zepla is, and again, she could be like legit saying it. Like, I'm not saying like she didn't, but what I'm think happened is, first of all, expectations were really low. So like that makes it a lot easier to be affected. Second of all, she said she felt really lonely in WoW, or like basically she felt the loneliest she ever has been. So you have a massive hole to fill, and it just so happened that's like Final Fantasy had enough in it to fill it. But here's the thing: if you were playing, like if you moved to Final Fantasy during Wrath of the Lich King, when you felt like you had a family, you would never feel like you have a family in Final Fantasy. No matter how nice or how great the people there would be, you would never feel it. You would be like, no, my home is fine, like it's in WoW, right? So it's just that she had a hold. It was just coincidental. So that's why, like, I don't like these like feelings like, oh, I felt here like home. It's like you must have been abused. It's like, oh my god, this relationship that I'm in is so good. I feel so myself here. And you know why? Because the guy she's with now is only yelling at her, but the previous guy was beating the shit out of her. Like, oh, this relationship is much better. Yeah, in comparison, it was, in my opinion, if you joined during Heaven's Ward, like, I don't think the game was really good. I'm sorry, it wasn't.
caught up in 14 so fast. Everything moved so quickly. I got my character to level 60.
And the reason I'm saying the game wasn't really good, fuck man, pause and I need to finish my fucking point before I say. The reason I'm saying the game, in my opinion, was not very good, Heaven's Ward, the jobs did not feel complete. The jobs started feeling complete afterwards. So, for example, when I was playing Stormblood, the job felt empty. Now, here's the thing: when they made Shadowbringers and when they made Endwalker, they, for the most part, added abilities and very small tweaks or none at all. In Endwalker, I think they made more tweaks, but Shadowbringers, Stormblood to Shadowbringers, there were almost like no changes except like extra abilities. I think like Dark Knight got some changes maybe. But there were almost like no changes to the classes. And in my opinion, dude, I was playing the Paladin, it felt empty all the way up until Shadowbringers, and Shadowbringers it was fun, like, oh, finally this feels like a good class. And so many classes felt better at like 71 than they did from 1 to 70. So much better, just because one ability was added. It's like now all of it makes sense. And Endwalker they made even better, and it's like the jobs only felt complete at the beginning of Shadowbringers and not during Stormblood, in my opinion.
started
So Heaven's
I
Word
started doing
as well would
Alexander
not feel
raids,
good.
and I started raiding again. I had that incredible thrill of killing the savage bosses with my new static, my new friends from my static, and it was that same old thrill that I felt back in the day with Nefarian. I was having so much fun. My heart found a new place to be, a new place to stay, and I watched from afar, from this position of safety, from which I still watched as World of Warcraft took its path and continues to take this path down a road that I can't follow.
I
It's like
agree
that
there.
thing that Jaina said to Arthas, like, you're going down a path I can't follow.
What do you mean Jaina said to Arthas? Jaina said nothing to Arthas. He was a little fucking fart, and she just looked at him and asked Anduin if that's Arthas. She didn't even like look at the fucking fart.
Meanwhile, you have
She looked at
Ian
Sylvanas.
saying stuff like, and this was from a Q&A.
Sad.
Ian said, if people are engaging in activity beyond the level that's required to earn some baseline reward, that's an indication they're doing it because it is fun. We can infer that from this data that they are having fun. We can infer the fun if they repeat activity beyond baseline reward
Oh
acquisition.
god.
It is fun. Like, what?
No. Yeah, just no.
He
Just a big
was
no.
talking about how they decide if something's fun or not, like how a robot would if they were studying humans
It's
and
so
trying to
weird.
understand.
It's like, okay, you know what? How you would decide if something is fun? If people were doing stuff that didn't give them any advantage in the game, then they're doing it for fun. That's that's like one of the only indicators you can really use. Hey, I'm doing Torghast 20 times a week, sorry, 20 times a day, even though you only get the reward one time, but I'm doing it 20 times, the same like level 6, the same hardest difficulty. I'm getting absolutely nothing out of it except enjoyment. Literally nothing. You get absolutely nothing out of it except enjoyment. Then you can say, okay, this person is having fun. Everyone else was like, well, they get incremental bonuses to their AP by grinding this out. They must be having fun grinding AP. Bullshit. The AP is used for something like a power gain for their artifact.
What is fun like? What is this thing? Like, it was so weird. And then Laura's sitting next to him. Laura's the community manager who famously on Twitter called the community dickbags. There's a tweet for that. He's a community manager.
For information, since I've been having to do it a lot lately, yes, I am very quick to mute or block people on Twitter. It is, in my experience, the only way to make using Twitter not be a constant slog through garbage spewed by anonymous dickbags. He's not wrong, just bad language. My mental health over your idiotic ranting. Again, not wrong. I don't like Lord, by the way. I'd like overall. I don't think much of him as a person, but and he's not wrong. It's just that politically and diplomatically he should not be saying things like that because again you're generalizing a lot of people who might be giving you actual feedback and you're calling them dig bags instead of like people who are actually dig bags and just like are being dig bags.
His job is to interact with the community. And
Yeah, again, no.
he was like, "Look, I'm quick to mute or block people. I don't want to slog through garbage on Twitter
That's
for
fine. I feel
anonymous
like
dick bags."
again, in my opinion, Twitter is not the. I mean, now it is, I guess, but Twitter should not be the way you interact with your developers. I think the forums should be the way you interact with your developers. That's failure on Blizzard's part and on the WoW team that the forums are a very bad way to interact with developers.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Your job is to go through Twitter messages. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? These are the people that are leading the Q&As, that are leading the official discussion about the state and path of the game. And not only are they out of touch,
Her arms are way smaller here, I believe. Maybe it's the shirt, but it's like she looks like. Because she said she's been working out when she was living in Ukraine, so I guess she's a bit, a bit more.
with like the very basic idea of what is fun. How do we decide if this is fun? But also out of touch with the community and even like from this tweet, you can see that there's a level of like aggression, almost like seeing the community
The
as an
level of aggression,
enemy,
that was pure
not as an
aggression.
ally that's there to
That's
give
pure
you
aggression.
very important. God, I'm so tired of this word feedback. We value your feedback. It's like the like it's the retail lie that everyone's sick of hearing. I don't even want to call it feedback. You're supposed to have normal conversations. You're supposed to play the game yourself, and as a human, using your human emotions, decide, did I have fun? It also echoes this thing that J. Allen Brack said, new president of Blizzard. Said, you think you want it, but you don't. Again, it's like this.
I 100% agree with him. I 100% agree that you think you want classic, but you don't. Because As you can see, for some odd reason, once TBC came out, Classic is dead. Once Wrath of the Lich King will come out, TBC will be dead. What do you think they're gonna do after that? They're gonna like keep recycling the 3 expansions? Are they gonna go for Cataclysm? Do you think if they go for Cataclysm, Wrath would also not be dead? Really? Now, by the way, before when they went from Classic to TBC, they technically killed Classic on their own. Right now, you can still play the Classic servers. They didn't change anything. You can still play it. Why doesn't anyone play that? Hmm. I wonder why doesn't anyone play a game that is practically free? Just pay the sub at this point, right? It's free. It's available. There's dedicated servers for that are not TBC. Why is no one there? Because the game is fucking dog shit. That's why no one wants this game. People want it for the nostalgia. They got their nostalgia. They don't want to play it anymore. They want massive changes. They want fun servers, right? Everyone who played the private servers, kudos to them for playing it for so many years. But here's what happened. They played it for so many years. They already experienced it. They basically leveled everything they wanted. They created all the characters they want. Do you really think they won't do it again? They probably just picked one or two of the classes that they enjoyed the most, and that's what they played in Classic, and that was it. They did the raids, the world first, whatever, who gives a shit? And now they're in TBC. And once TBC is over, they're gonna go to Wrath. And once Wrath is over, they're gonna go to the next one. And that's it. No one I wouldn't say no one, but it's like, yeah, I think J. Allen Brack was actually right. You think you do, but you don't. These servers right now, for example, how much money do you think Classic is actually making WoW right now? Absolutely nothing. Classic WoW is actually just costing Blizzard money. They have two or like I don't know how many. They have dedicated servers for Classic. They're just draining their money for no reason, right? And then it's going to be the TBC servers are going to be draining their money. And the thing is, they can't even turn them down because once they do, it would be the same as admitting the player saying, it's like, see, you don't want to give us Classic anymore.
The sense of condescension and how wrong has the community proven him to be with the massive hype over WoW Classic. People
They
aren't.
didn't. Though they didn't. In the long term, in my opinion, it was a mistake. In the short term, yeah, it was great. A lot of people played, whatever. Again, for nostalgia. Why is Asmongold not playing Classic anymore? Literally, in his words, because I already did it. Why is Asmongold not playing TBC? One of the biggest advocates for Classic. Why is not playing TBC? Because I did it 20 years ago or 18 years ago, whatever, like 15 years ago, whenever TBC was out. I think like yeah, 15 years ago, 15 to 18 years ago, whatever. Because I already did it 15 to 18 years ago. Now, will I do the new raids? Yeah, but will I grind? No, because yeah, it's not fun. It's not. It's fun for a very short time, but it's not fun. And you know why it's not fun? Because the technology fucking changed. The technology is so good. All the guides are out there. You're just following a fucking checkbox while you're playing Classic. The whole fun of Classic was the exploration, the not knowing what the fuck you're doing and making it work. Okay, all these weird builds that people were doing because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing, but still they were making uh, they were finishing the game. They were killing Kel'Thuzad or whatever. That's what made it fun. Not a lot of people kill Kel'Thuzad, but like they were killing Nefarian without knowing what the fuck they were doing. Okay, that's what made Classic fun. That customizability, the exploration, the like, no one even cared that respecting cost 50 gold back then because you wouldn't even get to the 50 gold because you wouldn't know how to respect. At most, you would respect back then to be like, I just want to try this out, and you couldn't just keep doing because no one knew how to farm gold. That's what was fun about it. Now you have all this information, and you have people literally sitting for hours on a herb. Like, oh, let me so respawning in 20 seconds, and then the bot appears and takes the herb from you. Technology changed which made Classic a fucking garbage dog-ass game. Here's the thing: if Classic came out when it did, 2020 or 2019, whenever it came out, if it came out and it did not have the name World of Warcraft, no one would play it. A game exactly like Classic came out without the Warcraft 3 story, but everything is the same. Everything is the exact fucking same. just all the character names are different, all the class jobs are named differently, all the abilities are named differently, but they do the exact same thing. Everything is the exact same. No one would play that game, and that's why I say JAB was right. You think you do, but you don't, because if the game wasn't called World Warcraft, no one would fucking play it.
Excited about WoW Classics, they can log in and play a polygon dwarf who like has like 4 polygons on his nose. They're logging in because of the design philosophy. This again, like with BlizzCon, we have all these quotes from these
I
people.
don't know why I'm so
Um,
passionate about the hate for
don't you guys
classic
have
WoW.
phones? They're on this
Okay, the Diablo 3
ivory tower.
thing. The Diablo 3 thing, I mean, I just feel bad for the devs, man. They were in shock mode. Like those people clearly are not like social savvies, okay? Like they didn't mean in a condescending way. They just didn't know what to say. They just want to say it's like, look, everyone has phones. You guys will like it, and like they didn't they couldn't respond to the fact that we probably shouldn't announce it as the last thing, and we probably should announce it in BlizzCon. If you announce it BlizzCon, it should probably be the first thing you announce, and very, very briefly. Like that's pretty much what it should have been.
And looking down at the players like they just have no idea what they want, and we know what fun is because we have the numbers. I went to my first fan fest 4 months ago in Paris. It was like night and day. BlizzCon 2018 versus FanFest 2019 because like
Ah,
there
look,
was a
it's
rock
Tancred.
show at the end where Yoshida came out in this like freaking amazing tiger kimono and he's like singing this badass song from the game, and you've got like Koji Fox from the English localization team Soken there, and they're like rocking out. They're having so much fun. Like we
I
are
hope they were
part
doing the
of
twinning
this
one.
big thing together, and you feel
It is
like
Shadowbringers, so I hope it was the twinning. It
they
is their
really
hit
are
song.
invested in this game too. They care about this
Yes.
game too. They're there to listen to us. I posted today on Twitter at FanFest. A fan went up to during the Q&A and requested a quality of life change. And Yoshida was like, "Yeah, we can do that." 4 months later, like today, I posted, yeah, that they have announced that they will be adding that feature that was requested by a fan into
A
the
fan
game.
requests a QOL change at FanFest, and 4 months later it's announced for the game. Never change Yoshida. Controllers will now vibrate when you have been matched in the duty finder, and the confirmation will appear. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Okay, I posted that to
I hate
just kind
that.
of
I hate that.
demonstrate
I need to turn it off, but
how
I don't know
very
how
different
because I
the
have to keep my
devs are.
controller off
If there's a
because
controversy, which there
it
have been,
keeps
they
fucking
address it
shaking.
and they say, well, here's the reasons for why we can't give you what you want right now, but we'll try. They're very transparent. They know they're in touch with what is going on, with what players want. But it's design
Yeah.
philosophy problems that are the reason why I felt so alone in my garrison in Warlords of Draenor, that are the reason why I left that game behind, and it opened that window of opportunity for me to finally try another game. So why are players quitting WoW for 14? It's because that the tie has been severed. What are those
Not
ties made
really.
of?
Like,
They're made of
yes
meaning.
and no.
What is meaning? It
I
is
don't think I
human
agree with.
connections.
Well,
It is
again,
feeling
for
pride
people
in your
like me, I don't
character
agree with
and
her.
pride in what you've accomplished. Whatever that
Mm,
chord of meaning is, I know that it's made up of something more than the sum of its parts, and that's what Ian doesn't get. That's what they don't seem to get. It's something that makes you feel like you're a part of something bigger. And that's what WoW has lost. That's what Final Fantasy XIV can offer. You might not like it. You might try it and it might not be for you. That's okay. But I will make a separate video talking about some misconceptions you might have, especially early on in the early parts of gameplay. I'll talk more about how the game does change as you level and more of what to expect if you decide to play 14 coming from World of Warcraft. What do you think? What do you think about this thing that I've called the chord of meaning? What is it made of for you? Like, what
mm,
attaches you to an MMO? Have you ever played World of Warcraft? Have you played it as long as me? Are you also a WoW
this is like
refugee?
what she's asking
And
questions for the comment section. Okay, I get it. Um, yeah, I'm gonna like the reason she quit WoW is completely different from my reason. I don't really feel betrayed by the community or like by the development team in that sense. I'll go more in depth after I come back from the washroom. Be right back.